Now, leaders and government officials from 92 countries have gathered in Switzerland for a peace summit on Ukraine. The event comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin suggested he was open to peace talks, but he said that Kyiv would have to agree to withdraw its troops from 4 Ukrainian regions and abandon its bid to join NATO. Now, the group will discuss ways of achieving a lasting peace. Russia has not been invited.
Even if they are not here today at the first summit, we have succeeded in bringing back to the world the idea that joint efforts can stop war and establish a just peace. This idea will definitely work because the world has power.
Our diplomatic editor James Bays joins us now from Burgenstock in Switzerland. Hi, James. I mean, this is a peace conference in name, but not with all of the main stakeholders present.
No, and the notable one is if you have a war and you're trying to end a war, you need the two belligerent parties to be present, and Russia is not here. But notably, we had comments from President Putin a couple of days ago that you just talked about. We've had comments from President Putin in the last hour or so through the Kremlin spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, saying that President Putin is not ruling out talks, but guarantees will be needed to ensure the credibility of any negotiations. Now, we don't know what that means. We don't know what guarantees he's talking about. And we do know when he made his last statement that he was talking about taking more of Ukrainian territory before he'd agree to peace. But I think the fact that he's engaging and talking about peace and peace talks on the day when this gathering is taking place, the timing of it, I think that's significant. With regard to these talks, there are efforts now to try and come up with a final communique to sum up, which are some pretty varying views from the countries that have arrived here. Obviously, we know what Ukraine and its closest allies think, but there are some differences among others. A little earlier, the Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer, he told us reporters gathered here that he wasn't sure that a unanimous declaration could come out of this event. Having said that, for the Ukrainians, they see this as a pretty positive moment diplomatically. All of these countries joining Ukraine, engaging with the discussions about the parameters for a peace deal, and of course they're following the lead of President Zelenskyy and his peace formula, and this comes at the same time as an economic boost for Ukraine, the G7 giving $50 billion, and with regard to military, NATO now allowing Ukraine to attack Russia across the border with its weapons, an opt-out deal with regard to Hungary, which had been blocking more action by NATO. That's now been agreed in recent days. Hungary will opt out of this but not stop NATO doing anything else. So it is, I think, a little bit more positive than it was. And when I caught up a short time ago with the Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmitry Kuleba, he sounded more optimistic.
I think that on all tracks we are moving forward, and the fact that this summit brought together so many countries from South America, from Africa, from Asia, and we see that those who are not here, they see what is happening. They see that this is the momentum and peace formula, and Ukraine is building peace around principles of UN Charter. It really brings us forward. So I cannot tell you when the war will end. It's not in my hands, but I know that we are making some major steps towards restoring just and lasting peace. These are two key words: just and lasting, not peace at any expense.
Some major steps being made there, according to the Ukrainian foreign minister speaking to me a little earlier. And certainly some of the other delegations believe that this could be a positive moment from their point of view. One of those, of course, is the United States. Kamala Harris, the vice president, was here. She's already left back to Washington. So the head of delegation now for the end of the talks is Jake Sullivan, the national security advisor of the United States. He said earlier on he expected a strong outcome here.
James Bays there for us in Burgenstock, Switzerland. Thank you, James.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.